Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hakureja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Digimon Ghost Game Anime Season number 1, Episode number 7, which is titled Birds. Which, yeah, as far as my opinion goes, I do think that this episode ended up paying a bit of a homage to the Hitchcockian movie Birds. But yeah, it wasn't the most creepy episode, but it still had its moments that kind of weirded or creeped me out just a bit. So the episode actually opens up with this guy. He's basically, I guess, taking care of some birds in cages, and then he notices these crows sitting on a ledge outside his window, and he's like, wait, what's happening? And then this Digimon appears. Now, of course, for when it comes to those of you who know their Digimon, you can immediately identify this Digimon as Chromon. But yeah, this guy doesn't know. So Chromon basically is a type of a Digimon who wants to free all the caged birds, which, you know what, it makes sense. It really makes sense that Chromon coming to the human world, Chromon looks at these caged birds and Chromon is like, I won't let this happen. I need to free them. So Chromon ends up breaking the window. The guy falls to the ground, and then there's this blinding light, and the birds grow free. And yeah, the guy on the ground, he's just crying because he's like, oh, Gromon's vision is beautiful. And yeah, later on in the episode, we found out that he ends up working with Gromon to free as many birds as possible. So moving on, we get this character Mika or Micah, and she's actually very happy about the likes that she's getting on the picture that she posted of her pet bird. So she's like, you know what? I'm going to go to my room where the pet bird is. She has the pet bird in her room. So she walks to the room. She opens the door and there are like crows in her room, which again in the movie Birds, it reminded me of that. And yeah, the crows start attacking her. She closes the door, and the crows bump themselves on the door as if they want to break the door down. After a while, all of the commotion ends and she opens the door, and yeah, her pet bird has been broken free from the cage, and her pet bird has flown away, and she doesn't like that. So it's the next day, and we see Gamamon and Hiro just walking on the street. And Gamamon is very, very happy because Hiro bought him this box of chocolates. He's like, my champion, my champion, my champion. And as he's moving the box around, a few of the chocolate balls fall on the ground. Gamamon tries to pick them up, but the crow is already there. The crow is already pecking on the chocolate balls, and Gamamon is like, hey, wait. And Gamamon goes after the crow, but the crow is way too is faster and more mobile than Gamamon. And Hiro is like, Gamamon, you need to let this go. You already have a whole lot of chocolates anyway. So as these two are talking, Hiro gets a call from Ruli, and the entire team ends up meeting up with Micah, whose pet bird we saw in the previous scene. The pet bird got free, and she flew away. And Mika's like, you know what? It was a very weird incident. Like, there were crows in my room, and then my pet bird was gone. It was as if I think she's the one who mentions it as it was as if the lock on the cage had been melted. And of course, Ruli, Hiro, and Kiyoshiro, to some extent, they are very, very interested in the case. And Kiyoshiro is like, you know what, creepy birds, count me out. Even though Ruli and Hiro are like, you know what, Mika, leave this to us. We'll handle this. So Ruli is like, you know what, we have to get to the bottom of this. Hiro is like, you know what, it feels like a Digimon is evolved. And Ruli is like, yep, Angoramon has the same opinion. So we need to figure out why this Digimon is doing all of this, and we need to put a stop to it. And this is also where Ruli shows them a stream of news from a news channel, where the news reporter is talking about a drone basically flying over the city, and with a murder of crows behind it. And yeah, the human population, they're very weirded out about this as well. And Rudy is like, yep, we can't let this stand. We have to figure out more about this Digimon and where it's headed, what it's supposed to do. And this is where Ruli is like, you know what, we'll start on the case, but we can't necessarily do anything right now because Hiro and I have class this afternoon. And Ruli is like, what about you, Kiyoshiro? And Kiyoshiro is like, I'm busy too, I have class too. And Ruli is like, you already have a master's degree from America. You're exempt from classes. You don't have to sit down for classes. You're just doing this for fun. And she's also like, Kiyoshiro, what do you even do the entire day? And Kiyoshiro is like, But yeah, Kiyoshiro is basically just trying to experience the school life without necessarily sitting for classes. Well, he is a genius. So yeah, Ruli ends up asking Kiyoshiro to start on the case, and Hiro and Ruli will join him tomorrow. And Jellymon is very interested in starting the case because, again, Jellymon has a very curious nature. So we have this guy that we saw in the beginning of the episode. He's talking to Chromon, and he's like, you know what? I believe in your vision. I want to help. I can tell you a whole lot of places where there are caged birds that we can free. And Chromon basically decides to keep him with it. And you can see a whole lot of crows nearby. And yeah, Chromon is actually sharing its energy with the crows. Then we get a scene where Kiyoshiro is basically setting up headquarters. So yeah, I guess the group has their headquarters now. And Kiyoshiro is like, you know what, we're going to put the FBI to shame. And Jellymon is like, what are these paper rolls? And Kiyoshiro is like, they're plans. And Jellymon picks up a plan and runs away because she wants to see it. And while that's happening, Gamamon tries to gnaw on the laptop wire, and Kiyoshiro is like, stop it, stop it, stop it. So I guess while Ruli and Hiro are taking their classes, Kiyoshiro is on Digimon babysitting duty. So we get to see Hiro with his friend, and they're going towards. I think it's one of the groups. What is it? One of the clubs, gardening and caretaking clubs. So yeah, this club is very very old. It started when the school was founded, and I guess they take care of birds. But yeah, as Hiro and his friend reach one of the cages, again, the birds have been set free, and Hiro notices the lock, which has been melted off, and there are like ones and zeros on it, and you're just like, what is this supposed to mean? Moving on, we get to see the guy working with Chromon. He's just basically making his way throughout the city and leading Chromon and his little crow croonies or crow minions along. And as they pass through the city, the crows end up using the energy that Chromon gave them, gave the crows to mess up with the electrical locks and melt them. Because one of the things that the episode makes very clear is that the caged bird that are being set free, all of the caged birds had electronic locks which Chromon's powers are able to disrupt, and that's how they're able to set the birds free. So yeah, the guy is very happy. He's like, yep, our mission is going well. Then we cut. Ruli and Hiro are at the case where they're at the pet shops. They're outside the pet shops where the birds have been set free, and they end up contacting Kiyoshiro. And they're like, Kiyoshiro, any breakthrough? And Kiyoshiro like, you know what, Jellymon and I are still working on it. We still have to review all of their data, and you can see here that Kiyoshiro has his map set up. He has the places where Chromon, and they don't necessarily know about Chromon, but yeah, he has the places from where the birds were set free. So yeah, Kiyoshiro is getting his investigative cap on, and I'm like, go for it, Kiyoshiro. So again, Hiro notices the disrupted electronic locks, and this is where Angoramon tells Hiro about one of the abilities that this Digimon might be using in order to disrupt the electronic locks. While that's happening, Ruli is checking her phone, and she notices a picture where that creepy, mysterious guy is shown in the picture. And I guess the caption is basically like, wherever the birds are going, there's this mysterious guy around. And she ends up asking one of the pet store owners whether or not he has seen the guy. And the guy is like, yep, he was in the pet store recently. And Ruli is like, Kiyoshiro, anything on this guy? And Kiyoshiro is like, you know what, he could be an accomplice, so we have to keep an eye out for him. And yeah, this is where we get to see that Kiyoshiro has figured out what's happening. He's like, you know what, at first it looked like that all of the attacks were random, but no, there's a pattern here. And he ends up mentioning the what was it, Fibonacci? Yeah, the Fibonacci number. I have it here. Basically, you guys might end up recognizing it, because it does end up on Twitter a lot, and also on Tumblr. It's basically the spiral thingy. Yeah, here. You guys must, some of you might recognize this. But yeah, anyway, he's like, you know what? There's a pattern over here. It's a Fibonacci sequence being used, and this is how Kiyoshiro is able to determine the next point of attack, which is basically the bird sanctuary in the city. And yeah, the guy, and we also get a scene where the guy is like, Gromon, our mission isn't done yet. We still have one major target to hit, and yeah, the guy is going to lead Gromon and the rest of the birds towards the sanctuary, and the kids have to stop him. Then moving on, this is where Kiyoshiro ends up telling them about his discovery, and yeah, he's like, you know what, you guys should head on back. And Hiro's like, why? And Kiyoshiro is like, because the sun has set, and the crows won't attack after the sun has set. So the attack will happen early in the morning, so you guys can return. And this is where Hiro's like, you know what, they are going to attack the sanctuary, and it's going to turn bad. And yeah, Ruli and Angoramon are like, why? Why would you say that? And this is where Hiro's like, because that sanctuary actually has predatory birds in it that can harm humans. So we really have to stop this guy. So it's early next morning. The kids are waiting for the guy to appear, and he does appear. I actually like them wearing these scarves around their necks because it's cold. But yeah, he appears with his Chromon. This is where Goramon is able to recognize the Digimon. He's like, yep, that's Chromon, all right. It's basically an ultimate level Digimon. There are also other crows nearby. And Gamamon is like, okay, so you are friends with these black birds. Well, yeah, Gamamon is still holding a grudge because of what one of the crows ended up doing to his chocolate balls that fell on the street. So Gamamon goes in for an attack, and this is where the crows end up activating the yellow orbs, the energy that Gromon gave the birds. And yeah, Angoramon is like, you need to be careful because that energy is very deadly. If you get hit by it, your data will get scrambled into ones and zeros, so be careful. So Gamamon has to retreat. A fight ensues, and I actually like the fact that while the kids and the Digimon are fighting, the guy who's working with Gromon, he ends up attacking Hiro. And yeah, I guess this is the first time in this anime series we have actually seen a human attack the kids. And I'm like, you know what, these kids need to learn some self-defense as well. Because if adult humans get involved, things get very bad for them. So this is where Ruli is like, you know what? I need to change the battleground, and she ends up teleporting everyone into again that mysterious space between the Digimon world and the real world. And if you guys notice, the people who get teleported are Gromon, Angoramon, Ruli, Hiro. The guy isn't there, so that's why Hiro is in this weird position before falling to the ground. Kiyoshiro, Jellymon, and Gamamon. And the crows aren't here as well because yeah, they don't have the vital bracelets for them to be teleported into this dimension. And because everyone gets teleported, this is where Jellymon is like, Kiyoshiro, you can actually learn something from Ruli, right? And Kiyoshiro is like, yeah, I understand. So yeah, a fight ensues, and Goramon is like, Gamamon, we have to go and attack Chromon, and Gamamon is like, yep, let's do this. So their attacks don't necessarily do anything because again, they are fighting an ultimate level Digimon. What was it, if I remember correctly? Yeah, Chromon ends up dodging Gamamon's attack, and Chromon ends up grabbing Angoramon, and Chromon throws Angoramon at Jellymon, and it's a very, very powerful throw. Angoramon and Jellymon basically break through the trees into the nearby, what was it, a lake? Or maybe it was a sea, I'm not necessarily sure. But yeah, fighting an ultimate level Digimon, it's not easy. And Gamamon is like, you know what, I'm still going to fight, but before he can do anything, Chromon ends up using another of its one of its attacks, which is basically this black giant sphere, dark sphere. And from what I remember from the Digimon lore, basically this sphere is supposed to cover kilometers. Maybe it's 2 kilometers or something. But yeah, the kids and the Digimon are stuck in darkness. They can hear each other, but they can't see each other. And this is where Angoramon is like, you know what? You guys stay where you are. Don't move. And yeah, the Digimon try to figure out where Chromon is. But yeah, because Chromon can actually see inside the dark sphere, it starts attacking the Digimon, and the kids are helpless. and the sphere disperses, and we get the scene where Jellymon and Goramon and Gamamon are on the ground with Chromon above them, and Chromon activates its yellow spheres, and it starts nearing the Digimon in order to disrupt their data, and it's just bad. It's very very bad. But Gamamon is like, I'm not going to lose. So Gamamon jumps and ends up biting Chromon, and Chromon doesn't appreciate that at all. So Chromon decides to fly into the sky, and then it clutches Gamamon in one of its talons, and then Gromon decides to dive towards Earth, towards the ground, and yeah, it basically throws Gamamon towards the sanctuary, and Hiro tries to save Gamamon, and I'm like, Hiro, how the heck are you going to save Gamamon? You aren't fast enough. And Gamamon tries to flap its little wings in order to stop itself from falling, but yeah, to no avail. And this is where Hiro is like, Gamamon, you can fly. You can fly. I believe you. I can fly. But yeah, it works. It works, and this is where we get to see a new Digi evolution for Gamamon, which is Voss Gamamon, which is basically a Triceratops, a blue Triceratops that can fly, or yeah, it's more of a glider than a flyer. It basically glides. So yeah, we get a new Digi evolution for Gamamon, and I'm like, okay, I appreciate the Digi evolutions, but you need to give Angoramon and Jellymon their evolutions as well. So it's a nice looking Digi evolution, but because this is Gamamon's first time as Voss Gamamon, this is where Goramon notices that Gamamon flies as if it's gliding, and this is where Goramon is like, Voss Gamamon, you need to catch the wind, you need to catch the air, or you'll fall. And Voss Gamamon is able to do that, and it ends up gliding towards Gromon. And this is where Hiro is like, you need to use your new attack, which is, I guess, if I remember how to pronounce it, Yurda Impulse or Yurda Impact. So it's basically Voss Gabamon quickly tackling its opponent like 2-3 times and then giving it a kick in order to throw it towards the ground. And that's exactly what's happened to Gromon. And I'm like, okay, yeah, tackling, and then throwing the opponent to the ground. And I'm like, okay, so does that mean that Gromon has been defeated? And I'm like, you know what? It would feel very weird if it's defeated because it is an ultimate level Digimon. But no, Gromon is still okay. So Gromon again flies towards Voss Gamamon, and Voss Gamamon is like, do you want more of this? And I guess Gromon just got bored or something, and Gromon is like, no, see you later. So it flies away. Ruli deactivates the dimension that they're in, and the guy notices Gromon flying away with the birds, and the guy runs after Gromon, and he's like, what about me? Don't leave me, don't leave me. And I'm like, are the kids going to report the guy to the police or something? But I guess they won't be. So as everyone is noticing Gromon and the birds fly away, uh, this is where they're like, okay, so what's going to happen next? Why did Gromon actually fly away? And this is where Goramon is like, you know what? I guess Gromon is going to lead these birds towards the Golden City, which is basically, I guess, El Dorado or a version of it. However, it's you should notice that as Gromon is flying, you can notice that while the birds are following it, not every bird is following it. So some of the birds fly away, and this is where Goramon is like, you know what? A caged bird seeks freedom while a wild bird seeks friends. And Ruli is like, what the what the heck? So basically, what Angoramon is trying to say that, you know what, now the birds have a choice when it comes to whether or not they want to be free, or they want to go back to their friends or owners. And we get to see Mika's bird return to her. And yeah, this is where Angoramon is like, when it comes to bonds can exist in various forms, and this is just one of those forms. And you know what, narratively, I think that this episode was able to offer a lesson when it comes to caged birds. They're basically showing two options. They're like, you know what, the birds can be set free, and those birds that want to stay with their owners, they can stay, or if they want to stay with people that they recognize, or they want to stay with them. It's basically related to how there's a story about when people start going to parks where there are a whole lot of birds, and they start feeding those birds. The birds associate food or comfort or safety with those people. And whenever that person does arrive at the park, the birds start circling those people or something. I guess Angoramon was trying to go towards that type of bond, talking about how the bird how it should be up to the bird to choose whether or not it wants to be free or whether or not it wants to stay with humans. And I'm like, okay, Angoramon, okay. But then again, a whole lot of caged birds, if given the chance, I don't think they will return to their human owners. But yeah, this is where the episode ends. And as far as this episode is concerned, I actually was expecting Hiro to handle this situation with his talk no jutsu, but I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. And we actually got to see Chromon basically flying away because it got bored or something, and not necessarily have a conversation with Hiro, where the two end up talking about why Chromon is doing all of this, and whether or not you agree with Chromon doing this. Hiro would probably end up telling Chromon that the way that Chromon is going about it makes no sense, and how Chromon shouldn't be planning to release more dangerous birds from the sanctuary. So yeah, I was expecting Talk No Jutsu. That didn't happen, so this episode gave us something different. As far as the guy that's concerned that was working with Gromon, is he going to go to El Dorado too? Or maybe we'll get to see him later on in this anime series. Who knows? But yeah, enough babbling. If I end up doing a written review of this for the Geek Theory, I'll make sure to put the link to that review down in the comment section below as soon as the review is published. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you thought of Gamamon's new Digi evolution, Was Gamamon. And yeah, when do you think are the rest of the kids going to get their new Digi evolutions? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, an okay episode, an okay fun episode that had its creepy moments, and it actually gave us something different because again, no talk, no jutsu. And I guess the kids now have a headquarters, and we might end up seeing them in the headquarters more. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.